The big news this week is yesterday it was revealed that Iron Banner will be coming back on October 13th and Trials of Osiris will be coming back on the 16th.
Finally, man.
Did you guys like these modes?
Absolutely. I love Iron Banner, and I really, really like Trials because it's like the competitive mode, you know? And I'm really looking forward to seeing how the new subclasses play out in that like 3v3, highly competitive, teamwork-oriented play style.
So for me, Iron Banner is super laid back because you can run in solo and just do your bounties, and you'll hit rank 5 before the end of the week, right? So as long as you do your bounties every day, you're pretty good. They're changing things a little bit. Let's go over a few of the list here. First of all, power still matters, and we're adjusting the damage curves to work with new measurement systems, according to Bungie. That's going to be weird. So, like, if I'm 304 and somebody's 309, how much of a power advantage do they have over me? Like, is it, like, every 10 levels? Because, who was it? Not Lars. Luke Smith was saying that if you're above 300, like, you're not doing any more damage if you're 310 or if you're 302.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
interesting.
But that's about raid mechanics, not about PvP, which is a different system.
Right.
So that's a little concerning for me. Going down the list about other things, the tempered buff is now automatically applied and continues to grow in effectiveness each day of event. So that's interesting. So you don't really have a tempered buff at all. Now it just increases. It's just there.
It's also... It's good that you don't have to pick it up anymore because there were times that I forgot to pick it up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and played a whole bunch of matches and was like, oh.
So if it's automatically there, what's the point of it?
Exactly. That's what I'm wondering. Anyway, the alt catch-up buff...
Well, the point's still be able to rep faster, right?
Why isn't it just... I think what he's saying is...
Why don't you just gain the rep faster?
Why don't you just automatically have the gain rep faster and like a buff not be a thing?
Yeah, it's not a thing. It's just increase the percentage of buff or
I think it's just something
XP
tangible
gain
for us to be like, yeah.
Maybe it does something else.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, the alt catch-up buff and Iron Medallion mechanics are unchanged. I don't know what the alt catch-up buff was, actually. Potential match completion rewards now include both weapons and armor matching the same items available from Lord Saladin during each event. That's awesome because now you don't have to buy everything necessarily.
You can, but if you're not getting what you want, thanks to Jesus.
On that note, gear purchase from Lord Saladin now requires legendary marks instead of glimmer. That's a little concerning because most items, like the good stuff, is like 150 marks, and legendary marks are kind of a harder to acquire commodity. Like, they're not incredibly difficult, but if I'm running 3 characters, how am I going to farm the legendary marks to buy the gear?
Are legendary marks shared across characters?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So you can only have 2. They need to up the amount that you can have.
So, I mean, okay, if you do both daily PvPs in the daily story, that's, what was that,
like
35?
There's 15 per daily... daily story, right?
I thought one was 10. Well, one PvP is 10. The next one's 15. The story, I think, is 15.
Sorry, I was including the weekly strikes.
Yeah, plus the weekly strikes.
You can run that 3 times on
up
one
to 15,
character.
right?
Yeah.
Up to 15 marks, and then another, and then what's the Nightfall?
Nightfall, I think it's
that
15? I still think it's 15.
Yeah. So you can get potentially 55-ish marks per character if you do it every week.
One piece. So what I think they're going to do...
one piece if you do 3 characters.
I think they're going to reduce the expense legendary mark-wise for the gear. Because you've already did all that work.
I think the cap is useless at 200, especially if...
Agreed.
It needs to go away.
It needs to go away.
You have 3 characters and the cap's 200? That's ridiculous. We had 3 characters and they all could have 200 before.
When they lifted the cap of 200 per week, or no, 100 per week, right?
Yeah.
Was what it was. And now you're lifting that cap, and now we're sitting at 200. What's the point of that if we can
It's not even enough for 100 per character. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's silly.
Yeah. Anyway, some of the other things, drop rates have been increased and are intended to be the primary source of rewards for Iron Banner. If you don't get what you're hoping for, you have the option to visit Lord Saladin instead.
You think all those gear drops will drop at 280 like they are when you buy them?
Probably.
I'm going to hold reserves on that.
Well, we actually don't know what the gear is going to drop at. It could be 310 gear.
Really?
That would make it very coveted. You know, like people would really want that stuff.
It would make sense right in time for Trials of Osiris for everybody to be 310, but... I mean, I don't think 310.
New emblems have been added to his inventory. Yeah. All new bounties, including 9 daily bounties, 3 per day, and 3 new weekly bounties, which reward legendary marks. So that's how you're getting your marks.
Good.
Recommended light level is 230 at least. Only level 40 Guardians can lead a fire team.
So 230 is a little weird.
So all pretty standard. The thing is, how are the light levels going to work? How many legendary marks are these things going to cost, and how many are we going to get for these bounties? Because if it's 100, what is it? The helm's 150.
Yeah, they're all like 150.
Everything else is 75. So chest and legs, chest and arms are 75. Legs are also 75.
I think it's all going to be the same amount.
Yeah,
as Vanguard and Crucible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 150 for that helm, dude. That's what everybody wants. That's the coolest piece, is the helmet, right?
I haven't seen it.
They have an image on the Bungie.net.
Is it really cool looking?
Yeah, it's all really, really cool looking. I don't like the Hunters. The Hunter has like a wolf head. And
I have seen
that.
those.
Yeah, we saw a few of the with some like teaser reveals. They've showed off some Iron Banner, some Iron Banner gear.
Good. Yeah. Finally, Hunters can be the ones who don't look cool.
Yeah.
The time of the Titan.
Yeah, the Titan looks the best. He kind of reminds me of the guy from Monty Python. It's like, your leg's off. No, it isn't. Or your arm. Yeah. Moving on, though, let's talk a little bit about Trials of Osiris. So Trials of Osiris is coming back on the 16th. And Derek Carroll, one of the design guys for multiplayer, talked a little bit about it. Trials gear will now drop exclusively as end-of-match rewards for winning teams. That's great. But that's a little confusing because later they say there is a bounty system. Where is it? Brother Vance now has Trials bounties available each weekend to provide players with a way to get sweet Trials gear, even if they're not reaching the lighthouse. That's cool. The very first thing you say, though, is exclusively drop as end-of-match rewards for winning teams.
Well, so you know how prior...
There's 2 sets, I guess, maybe.
Well, you know how you could get Trials of Osiris drops just for winning your first 8 matches? Like, at any time, during any of those wins, you had a chance to get
It was just
drops.
gear, though. I've never seen weapons drop from that.
Yeah, I think that's what they're referring to here.
Got it. All right.
Trials gear will now drop exclusively as end-of-the-match rewards.
Are they doing away with tier rewards now?
Tier?
Like, you spend if you...
It seems like it. It seems like you get them from bounties and stuff. So like you don't have to go to Brother Vance to get your stuff.
Right.
The more you win, the better drops will be. There's no need to return to Brother Vance, so there you go.
Okay, well, that makes
All
sense.
rewards come directly to you. Passage coins still drop for the losing team. Trials is about winning, but coins can help make it easier. Trials passages now have a details page containing your active buffs. You won't be able to add buffs once you've started your trial, so you got to buy them up front. What people would do is they would buy their 2 of the packages, and then the one that forgives a loss, they'd buy it around 7 or 8 wins because
that's what I did.
When you don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
You can't do it now. You got to buy it all up
because you
front.
almost always, at least when you're running with a good crew, you almost always win like the first 5 or 6 matches.
Yeah. And then you don't want to lose on like match 8.
Then you get stacked up with the teams that are really good, and you're just like, I don't want to lose this match.
Yeah. Players that go undefeated on their passage will continue to be invited to the lighthouse. Players may continue to play in Trials past 9 wins, but they won't get any better gear. So you must get a complete set. If you go to 9-0.
Not in one.
It sounds like
thing,
it.
Right?
If you're not going to get better gear, then.
Well, what's the point of?
So you're at 9 wins. You're going to keep getting that 9-win really good gear drop, but nothing better.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything better than what.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing beyond that that's better than what you can get from the lighthouse, right?
Yeah. Regular Crucible bounties still valid in Trials. We will attempt to match up teams with similar win counts. If you have 1 win, we will try and match you with another team with only 1 win. If you have 8 wins, you're going up against another team. That's gonna. Oh my God! It's already Trials is so stressful already.
I like that though because you want to be playing against the best.
That's the whole point of it.
Another note on there, if we can't find a high-quality match, we will loosen the win requirements first. In other words, we will not prioritize wins over low-latency matches, so you're going to get a good match. Overtime, timer, and elimination will now show at 0 instead of stopping at 1 when time expires.
Was this a problem?
It was just a weird bug, it sounds like.
Okay. I never had
Teammate and enemy revives now have distinct audio cues. Recommended minimum light is 290. Only Guardians with at least 251 can lead a fire team. Sorry, I wanted to get through all that. So, overall thoughts on Iron Banner and Trials. Let's start with Iron Banner.
Truthfully, I mean, it sounds like a bunch of minor changes that will all add up to a slightly different experience that's better for everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything major being changed here that's like game-breaking or changing for either Trials or Iron Banner that I can see.
I already kind of made clear my concerns with Iron Banner. You know, the legendary mark system, how's that going to work? Why are we capped at 200?
Yeah, but all that stuff applied to just the legendary mark system and not necessarily Iron Banner. It's like even before Iron Banner and Trials, people are having trouble figuring out how to acquire marks and where to spend them because you can't hold all that many.
So another thing, when I was running one character, like I had like 190 marks. I'm like, I don't want to buy any of this 280 crap.
Yeah.
You know, like what am I going to do? Buy it so I can clear my marks and then shard it so I get 3 more marks? It's dumb.
I mean, we still had that problem.
Increase the cap.
Yeah,
the cap needs to be
before
increased.
Legendary Marks, we still had that problem of like, well, I'm going to spend these just to spend them because I'm not going to gain any more.
Yeah, I just stopped doing the daily and the weeklies because it's just like, I don't need any of this stuff.
Right.
You know, there's no point to it. How do you feel about Iron Banner, Brian?
I think it's going to be fun. I mean, that was my favorite mode.
Yeah.
From, you know, when your gear matters. Trials of Osiris, I like it, but
Stressful.
it's very stressful.
It's very stressful.
Yeah.
It's hard. And
Yeah.
Iron Banner, like you were saying, it's very laid back. I'm just hoping that the gear drop rates are going to be as good as they're saying they're going to be.
Here's a question. Do you think you're going to see in Iron Banner Mayhem Clash and Rift and those new playlists?
I think it's going to be Control. I think they're keeping it to Control. I don't think they're going to change it to be anything else.
Yeah, they specifically say Control, right? You know, like in the headline to Iron Banner says prepare to control the zones, and don't mention anything else about Rift or Mayhem.
I actually Control is my favorite mode, but I do like the objective or like just different objectives like Rift and stuff.
What's the new one? Control the zones.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty
what is it
fun.
called?
Control.
Zone control.
Yeah,
I actually hate that.
I didn't
mode.
care for it. I mean, Iron Banner, I wish it would like just branch out and try other things. I mean, I don't see why we can't do Clash or Mayhem.
I think for me,
Rift.
it's just really comfortable being, you know, that it's you have to hold the points and then fight everybody because it's
For
easy.
zone control or
For me,
control?
Iron Banner's super laid back because like you hit a good light level, you can just go in and play. You know, you don't need to like hyperanalyze anything for Iron Banner. You know, but with Trials, everything matters. The gear, the amount of intellect, your amount of discipline, you know, or strength if for some reason you run strength. Maybe hunters do. But, yeah, all that stuff is super important, you know?
I'm really just looking. I mean, we got to figure out what the new sniper is, right?
Yeah, the new lead sniper.
1,000-yard stare.
It was Praetus Revenge for me because it's like pop up.
So that's
Dead.
the thing is like Praetus was always really strong because you could spec it so that it had 6 shots in the mag, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I guess what are people using nowadays for PvP? Is it
1,000-yard
1,000-yard stare?
Yeah.
I have one of those, but
only
not
has
with a
the
very
4.
good roll.
They all only have 4. I have the Dead Orbit sniper, and I have like 4,000-yard stares. So like I'm set up for a sniper loadout. I just got to pick one, you know, the best PvP one. I really like the changes to Trials of Osiris personally. I think it's good. I think the Brother Van stuff where you had to get tier rewards was a little weird. It kept you coming back.
Oh, well, I guess,
You know?
yeah. So I kind of liked it because it felt like there were a lot of people out there who couldn't get to more than 5 wins or 7 wins or whatever. So
Well,
you
that's
were
probably
getting
what the bounties are going to be. Just you can turn that in from your screen. You get a helm.
right.
know?
So that's the thing is
It
like
made it easier.
it was giving people rewards who couldn't get all the way to 9-0, which is good. But if they're going to do that anyway, just through winning your first, second, third match, whatever, even if you don't go 9-0, then that's a good way of doing it too.
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
perhaps a better way.
Right.
Any final thoughts on the multiplayer announcements?
Yes. I like it when Iron Banner and Trials are at the same time because regular Crucible is like easy mode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You just go to regular Crucible and none of the good players
Yeah.
are playing regular Crucible during those 2 events.
They're all playing the big
playing,
boy games.
They're playing Iron Banner or Trials.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It's like, man, these guys are
funny.
easy to kill.
You got a last word bounty, jump into Crucible at that time.
My only thing is on Trials, I love the year 1 helmets and the loadout, and I never got the helms for Trials. Like
That sucks.
And I'm like, oh my god, like what if they change the helmets and I'm just never going to be able to get those awesome helmets? I think what they should do, even with Iron Banner, I think what they should do is allow you like, okay, you want to purchase the helm? Which aesthetic version do you want? Because Iron Banner's already changed 3 times. Right, so this is like the 3rd set of gear.
I've said this a bunch of times, but I think that Destiny really needs some form of transmogrification for you
Definitely.
Diablo people out there. It's
Yeah.
just the ability to, if you've discovered gear before, any gear,
I like
you
this
can,
helmet, but I want it to have this, thing.
basically you can make any helmet you have look like any other helmet you've discovered at a price. So it costs, but you can do it over and over
Not
again.
look like,
and-
function like, you mean?
No,
So, like,
look like. It's the same helmet. You get
Yeah.
the same perks, same buffs, same whatever, same stats. It just looks like a different one.
What's the is
So
it
you
the
can customize
Centurion-
your
is it
look.
the Centurion
got it.
helmet that looks really bad? Is that what it's called? I forget the one.
Yeah.
It's like I like the helm, but I hate the look of it.
Yeah.
So
Eternal Warrior. That's the one
Eternal
you're talking
Warrior.
about. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's like
It's a great helm,
but it looks
ugly
terrible.
as
So it's like
so. I would like that's the thing is I'm one of those guys who like I want to have the best gear, but I also want to look really really cool. And that is such an ugly helmet that I never even bought it because I was like, never will I ever use that.
I don't think it's that bad, but
Nope,
I know where you're
terrible.
coming from. I know
you
where
can
you're
change
coming
it to
from.
pink
then.
now though if you'd
Oh
like.
my god!
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, so if I could make that look like the Trials helmet, for instance, the old one, the Helm of Exile for the Titans, looks so cool, and that would be awesome.